This is group number 2, and we have discussed only of this, the eclipse. Our discussion will based on this topic, that the eclipse of God and man. In what ways is there eclipse of God and man? How does it manifest itself? Then we try to make it into 4 parts. The first one, the eclipse, the meaning of eclipse, then the eclipse of God, then in what ways there is eclipse of God and man, and finally, how does it manifest itself? Or in other words, the eclipse of God and man. Now, what is eclipse? It is an obstruction of the light from the sun, moon, or any luminous object. This is, of course, a concept which was born from geographical concept. So, it is that kind of event when the sun, the moon, let's say, obscure the light of sun. Then here on earth, we experience what? Darkness. So then what is eclipse of God? Refers to the Jewish concept of the act of God concealing his face as a way of punishing his disobedient object. Referring to the Jewish concept of the act of God concealing or hiding his face as a way of punishing his disobedient object or subject. In this particular concept, the eclipse of God is when love of God is obscured by sin of man. Compare Genesis 4, chapter 4, verses 13 through 14. This is all about the story of Cain's punishment. You will find this Cain, or this man, reached at the point of sensing that, or feeling that God has left him. He says, my punishment is greater than I can bear, and from the face of God I shall be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. So when God, when God's love is, let's say, obscured by sin, then man starts to feel as if he is left without any someone to care him. Then, in what ways there is eclipse of God and man? In what ways there is eclipse of God and man? The eclipse of God and man occurs when man violates God's divine law. For example, when you compare Exodus chapter 20, verse 13, there is God's divine command, which states that you shall not kill, but man kills through abortion, contraceptives, but also euthanasia, and so forth. So, this sense of eclipse of man comes when man violates God's divine laws. The fourth one, how does it manifest itself? That this sense of eclipse between of God and man, how does it manifest itself? How can we realize that now there is eclipse of God and man? That is, the love of God now has been obscured by sin of man. The following are some, let's say, indicators that there is nowadays an eclipse of man, of God and man. First of all, this practical materialism. Now man has, let's say, concentrated on let's say, accumulating materials. While he has or she has kept behind spiritual issues or matters. Then there is individualism. This has been successfully elaborated by the previous presenter, that man has concentrated on himself while he put aside spiritual life or relationship between himself and God. Then there is utilitarianism. Then there is hedonism and reducing conjugal acting to duty and pleasure. Actually, the real meaning of sex between man and woman now has been reduced to the only pleasure. And finally is consumerism. And this problem actually has, let's say, attacked even the churchmen. Nowadays, someone who is doing well in let's say, in projects and other things which accumulate money and so forth is taken as if he is a good pastor. But someone who is concentrating in maybe preaching, baptizing, pastoral activities, he will just fund as if he's doing nothing. So this is the problem. So all these and many others are indicators of this eclipse between God and man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Usman. Any comments to this presentation? Any comments? Questions? Yes, sir. You have questions? Wait, comment? No. Well, I think they almost complement each other, so there's not much to say. Group 3.